So, what is it that makes Porygon2 so powerful, my tacticians? Well, the answer to that is simple. It has the Eviolite. And why does it get Eviolite? It's because it can evolve into something further. It can evolve into Porygon Z. However, we're going to be looking at Porygon 2 for the reason why is that most people, especially in the higher echelons, the upper levels, the most elite of the elite, why do they run Porygon 2? It's because of Eviolite Porygon, or Eviolite Porygon 2 to be precise. When you put Eviolite on a Pokemon that, this is for those who don't understand what the Eviolite does. When you put Eviolite onto a Pokemon that can evolve further but is not evolved, or at least not fully evolved, it increases its defenses, both of its defenses, by 50%. So when you have a really, really strong defensive Pokemon like Porygon 2, for example, it's not hard to see why people would strap an Eviolite onto it. It's literally the perfect Pokemon to put Eviolite onto. It's a Pokemon that, it doesn't have to have full defenses in order to benefit from it. It's a Pokemon that doesn't need to, focus so much onto its attacking power. It can just be very tanky, it can just set itself up, and it can just do whatever it wants. And of course, it also has access to the download ability, or even the analytic, which will increase either its special attack by, one stage, or its physical attack by one stage, depending on which stat the opponent is weakest to. For example, special attackers or it will increase its special attack if the opponent has a weaker special defense, and vice versa for physical attacks. Or it can go for the analytic, which will increase its, attacking power whenever it goes after its target. So that's another reason why people like Porygon. It's just really, really powerful. It also has access to some sustain if you look at its move pool. So one of the most common moves that people will always run if given the chance is Toxic. People love Toxic. It prevents Pokemon from just setting up for free. It prevents them from staying on the field forever. It prevents them from stalling. At the same time, it encourages stalling because, you're stalling them out and waiting until the opponent succumbs to the Toxic. However, it also has access to the move Recover, which is another reason why people love Toxic stalling Eviolite Porygon 2. Because it can recover itself and it can Toxic stall the opponent, and it just sits there and waits until you eventually run out of steam. So that's another reason why people like Porygon 2. But that's of course for like singles. If you're facing Porygon 2, you're not gonna see something like a Toxic Staller in like doubles, which is mostly what VGC is all about. And for Porygon 2, the reason why people run it is because of its huge defensive buff. So to compare it to another really, really tanky Pokemon, we're going to look at Cresselia. Now, you saw Cresselia like last week or so when I talked about Cresselia's massive defensive capabilities with its huge defense pools and its huge HP pool, and its ability to just set up in your face and be able to be swapped into, and without fear being one-hit KO'd. Well, Porygon 2 can do that, only better. And the reason why is because, unlike Cresselia, it only has one weakness, and that's to fighting types. Everything else it's neutral to, with exception to Ghost, which is immune to. So why is that? Well, let's head over to our friends over at Showdown. Thank you for the damage calculators, by the way, people at Showdown. But we're going to look at Showdown, and we're going to compare their stats. Now, you can see here I just put two blank blank sets, Cresselia and Porygon 2, just to compare their EV spread and IV spread. Both of them have a hardy nature, which means they're both neutral nature, so no matter what, they're going to be completely even across the board. And this just goes to show you just how strong, Porygon 2's defensive capabilities are when you put them alongside Cresselia. Now, Cresselia's benefit is that it has a higher HP pool, so it can take a lot more hits than Porygon 2 can. However, Porygon 2 has a much, much stronger, defensive set of stats. It has a stronger defense and a stronger special defense when you add on to the Eviolite. Now, this won't show you the Eviolite boost, but if you take these two stats, 147 and 142, this is again with just a hardy nature. This is neutral nature, no, stat increasing, natures, etc. You decrease those by half, and that will increase, like, say, around This will increase this by 60, like around 61 points, I believe. No, 71 points. And this will increase this like around 73 points, give or take. 74, just round it up. So suddenly, you have you have like a 230, like 231 defense stat here with Eviolite. And this is just if you put all your EVs into both baskets of defense and special defense, and you have like a 147, but you have like a 236 or so. You have like a 236 in your special defense, so you're going over what Cresselia's best can do with the same nature. Now, if we were to do the same thing and say let's go for a calm nature. Let's see, where is calm nature? There's calm nature. And we're going to do the same thing here. You just increase the stats even further. Even at best, Cresselia is only at 200 under the best of conditions. And Porygon2 will just top that right off. It will just go right over Cresselia. So it's no wonder why Porygon2 is so competitively viable. It is just very tanky and very difficult to knock out. Even under the best of conditions against, like, say, my Pheromosa, for example. Like, I'm just going to throw out my Pheromosa just to demonstrate. We're going to go for Naughty Nature, High Jump Kick. And we're going to go for, we're going to actually go for a Bold Nature. And, add on to the Eviolite. So, let's see if I can find the Eviolite. There's the Eviolite. Even under the best of conditions, this is the best case scenario for Pheromosa. It cannot guarantee a one-hit KO onto an Eviolite Porygon2 under these conditions. With the Bold Nature, with the Eviolite, with the maximum defense boost, this is just the best that Pheromosa can do without the aid of like a Phytinium Z. And this is using the Naughty Nature Focus Sash. If we give her the Life Orb, for example, it will be a guaranteed one-hit KO. But you'd have to sacrifice that Focus Sash in order to actually be able to take down this Porygon2. Anything else outside of a Z move will not KO a Porygon2 if it's increasing its defensive, like with a defensive nature, and has max defense EVs in one of those two stats, and probably even if it increased its HP by maximum as well. So that's just another reason why people like to use Porygon2. It is just so tanky, and it's just very versatile, especially when you combine the fact that it can run into a Trick Room. It can use the Trick Room. It is a very popular Trick Room Pokemon. People who use it in VGC will always try to set up a Trick Room if they think it will give them an advantage. But even then, they don't have to run the Trick Room if they don't want to, because the threat of a Trick Room alone is enough to really catch people off guard and make them really wary when they see the Porygon2 on the field. It also has access to some really powerful TMs and move tutors. So first of all, it gets access to a popular move. It gets access to the Ice Beam. It's a really powerful anti-dragon Pokemon. They can't really take it down in one hit, so they might as well go for that Ice Beam, try to take it down. It has access to Psyshock if it wants to run the Psyshock. It gets access to Thunderbolt somewhere around here. There's Thunderbolt. It can go for Thunderbolt. It can even go for Thunder if it really wants to. It has access to Psychic. It has Shadow Ball. Let's see what also does it get to. As I said, it can go for the Trick Room. It can even go for shenanigans such as Ally Switch. If you know a Pokemon on your Pokemon or a Pokemon on your team, I don't know why I said that 3 times. If a team member on your side of the team is going to be hit very hard by an attack, let's say a Pheromosa decides it wants to take you down, well, you can go for the Ally Switch and let Porygon take that hit. Sure, you may lose Porygon2, but at least Porygon2 will tank the hit for you. It also has access to a very popular move such as Icy Wind, which will slow down the opponent and really help you control the speed. So that's another reason why people like to run it. It has access to the Signal Beam as well. It has access to a lot of really powerful moves that can make it very dangerous. It even has access to the most powerful electric type move in the game, and that's Zap Cannon. Not counting all the Z moves, it has access to Zap Cannon. It has access to the Recover. It has access to even Agility, of all things. and it just makes it very, very difficult to counter the Porygon2. Outside of really powering it down, your options against the Porygon2, swiftly eliminating it, are very, very limited. You have to focus it down. Otherwise, it's just gonna, sit up in your face. It's gonna do whatever it wants to do. It's gonna recover. It's gonna just hit you back with an ice beam. It'll probably set up a trick room, and it will just make your life miserable if you underestimate the power of the Porygon2. And so this is why people run Porygon2. So in any case, that is going to be all about Porygon2. I've demonstrated why Porygon2 is so powerful. It's a very, very bulkier Cresselia. It doesn't have the HP pool of Cresselia, but it has more bulk in terms of its defensive and its special defenses. And comparing the two, you can see why people like to run, why people like to run the Cresselia, or why people like to run. I'm running out of words here, but why people run Porygon2 instead of Cresselia sometimes, or even why they like to run both. Both of them can operate in the Trick Room, and both of them are very, very bulky. Even under the best of conditions, Cresselia loses to Porygon2 in terms of its defensiveness when you strap the Eviolite onto the Porygon2. So in any case, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye!